Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matt with RAR TCG. Today's video is a good one, y'all. We're going to be talking about how to deal with negative feedback. This is going to be a really juicy video with a ton of value in it, and I hope it's going to challenge your perspective and some of the ways you approach negativity when it comes to your life and your business. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, guys. We've hit over 700 subscribers. My mind is blown, okay? So let's see if we can continue to push ahead towards that goal of 1,000 subs. Each and every one of you that hit that like button, that dislike button, and comment down below. Thank y'all so much for helping me put my channel out there. And let's continue with the video. So how do you deal with negative feedback in your business and your life? Well, honestly, I think the way that you deal with negativity in your life reveals a lot about kind of how self-aware you are, and it reveals a lot about your genuine in general outlook on life. Okay, because I think that we can sometimes either be glass half full or glass half empty people, and that's like shorthand, which isn't very short, right? Glass half full, that's really long. That's longhand for being an optimist or a pessimist, right? Well, when it comes to your business and really when it comes to life, we're going to be faced with negativity, whether that's feedback, perceptions, just people being darn rude, like it's going to happen. We can't control it necessarily, but we can control how we respond to it, okay? And so in life, I just really want to encourage you, try to be someone that believes the best about the people around you. Especially if you don't have any reason to believe otherwise, whenever you're faced with something that may seem like negativity or friction, you feel that friction, something's welling up inside of you, you're not really sure about what's going on, I really encourage you to take a step back, remove the emotions, and approach every situation from an attitude of gratefulness, from an attitude of believing the best about the person in front of you. It's not always easy. And for me personally, like my personality, it's hard for me sometimes to do that, but I've had to teach myself over years and years and years that I really need to take a step back. I really need to try to remove the emotions before I respond. Because when I was a younger man, right out of high school, early in college, I would respond with emotion all of the time. It would really hurt friendships in the past because I'm someone that will just kind of say what I think. I'll say what's on my mind, what I believe to be true about a situation. And what I've learned is not necessarily to hide that about myself. I don't think that's a negative personality trait, but I do think that there's something very important about the way that we say things. There's something very important about the way we position ourselves whenever we respond to people. And we also need to take in consideration where the person is. Like, why are they giving us this negativity and negative feedback? Maybe it's coming from a place to try to better us. And if we would just remove our emotions, maybe we would grow instead of getting bitter and negative in response. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about when we're faced with negative feedback. I'm going to talk about this, a little bit the front side about personal kind of ways that we can apply it, but then also about our business. I know a lot of people tune in to hear about the business side, but what I want you to know is like the way you personally handle feedback and the way you handle feedback in your business, those two things are connected, 100% connected, okay? Because the way that you perceive negativity in your life is going to bleed over into the way that you receive negative feedback or negative reviews in your business. And if you're not careful, if you respond to that negativity emotionally charged, if you respond to it sarcastically, or you respond to it in anger, those things can have lasting impacts for your business, okay? Like, we don't want that. You want to be in business for a very long time. You want to be able to be profitable, and you want to be able to take negative feedback on the chin and take it and improve. So let's talk about it, okay? I just recently received 2 negative reviews on TCG Player. It sucks, okay? I have made over 200, no. I've made over 2,000 sales. It's crazy for me. I can't even believe it. So I'm 2,000 plus sales into TCG Player. I've had 100% feedback this whole time. I've had a couple instances where somebody's given me some a negative review and feedback. I've reached out to them proactively, addressed their concerns, issued, if it's something my bad or something that happened in transit, I'll offer a partial or full refund depending on what it is. And they've always updated their responses. Well, this last week, I had 2 negative reviews. I reached out, did everything the way I knew how to do it. I removed emotions. I approached it in a positive way. And guess what? They didn't update their reviews. And so what I want you to know is I am no longer 100% feedback seller on TCG Player, and I'm okay with that. There's a couple reasons I'm okay with that we're going to cover in this video. And I just hope that you buckle up because this is going to be a fun time. So reason number one, I'm okay with that negative feedback. I'm okay without having 100% is first and foremost, the buyer. Okay, I'm the seller, my customer that bought for me that had a negative experience, they don't owe me anything. Okay, if they had a negative experience, it doesn't matter that I reached out, I was kind, I addressed their concerns, I talked about ways I was going to improve, and I offered a partial or full refund. But even with all of that, and they were appreciative of those steps that I took, they don't owe me anything. And if their review is true to their experience, then they deserve the ability to leave that review and to have that out there, because for them, that is their lived experience. That is true for them. And whether or not I controlled any aspect of that negative review or not, it doesn't matter. This is a business, okay? We have to remove our emotions. This isn't about me being a good person. This is about me running a business. In my business, I had a customer who had a negative experience, and they have every right and deserve to vocalize that in a public manner, okay? In whatever manner they want to. So just to put that out there, I think that we have to remove this idea that we're owed positive feedback, that we're owed, 100% feedback on TCG Player. That's not the case. Okay, that's reason number one. I'm not owed anything in business. In fact, I owe my customers a positive and good experience with their buying experience. That may sound kind of crazy or kind of harsh, but I truly mean that. And that's the approach that I have in life. Reason number two, I'm okay with it, is I've learned a lot through this experience because I can trace back to a moment where I think I know, actually, I think that I know that I think that was the root cause of this negative feedback. You see, a month and a half ago, I'm always looking for ways to iterate and improve, okay? That's something that I've talked about in previous videos, the I. I'm not about the PP, which is perfection, things being pretty and perfect. I'm about iterating and improving on my processes, okay? So I did that. I iterated and I thought I did something that improved it. So what did I do? Well, I changed and updated my shipping kind of method and process and system. So I updated the way that I ship cards. It reduced the cost for me. It allowed me to pack more cards in shipments, and I thought that would provide a better experience along the way, because in my opinion, I was doing things still safe with the cards. I probably sent several hundred, for sure, over the course of a month, several hundred orders that way. So for me to receive 2 points of feedback tied to my shipping process, it is revealing to me that those two things happened close in succession. There was 2 orders that provided negative feedback based off of a more so recent change to my shipping system and processes. So what does that mean for me? Well, that means for me, right now, what I've done immediately is I've stopped that process. I've kind of returned to a previous version of shipping that I know has been really solid. Yes, it is costing me a little, literally a little bit more each order, but I know for a fact that people have enjoyed that process. But what am I doing about this negative feedback? Well, first and foremost, as I said in the first points, that I'm not owed anything, I address their concerns. I remove the emotions of being sad that I received negative feedback. I addressed their concerns, offered a partial refund, a full refund for whatever issues that they had. And then I committed to them that I was reviewing my processes and would make improvements. Okay. I didn't just say that as a way to try to get positive feedback. I truly meant that. Okay. Because this is revealing to me in my business maybe an area or a blind spot where my customers could receive a negative experience. And I don't want that. Okay. Even if it costs me, 5 or 6 extra pennies per envelope, I would rather pay the extra 5 cents, the nickel, than have to worry about someone having a negative experience due to something that I could control. So that's reason number 2, process improvement. I iterated and improved just to find out that maybe that wasn't the best option. So I'm going to wait until the rest of the orders I submitted that way get processed out and I kind of can tally up, like, am I going to get a wave of negative reviews tied to that process improvement? Maybe it wasn't an improvement. And then from there, I'll readjust, rethink through my cost saving and shipping measures and see if there's maybe another option there where I can maybe accomplish the same thing in a way that's not going to lead to negative feedback. Okay. So this is all part of like iterating and improving. Okay. And then the last reason that I'm okay with this negative feedback is honestly going over 2,000 orders without negative feedback. It kind of starts to make you feel like you're invulnerable. Okay, it kind of starts making you feel like, okay, I feel really good. Like, I think I got this under control. I'm good for the next 20,000 orders. Well, when we start getting a little bit too excited that way, we start kind of maybe slipping or creating blind spots for ourselves. We're not as intentional with the way that we're reviewing our processes and systems in our business. And honestly, I preach it in a lot of videos, but we need to be aware of what's going on. And we need to always push for improvement and greater efficiency in what we're doing. And that's exactly what this last week and this negative feedback has kind of like shooken me up about. It's reminded me of those fundamentals. And it's not that I wasn't trying to iterate and improve, but maybe as I said, I created a blind spot in a specific area, got really comfortable with the process that I thought I improved, that maybe I needed to take a little bit more time to review. And I'm so very thankful for these customers that spoke up, that experienced a negative experience, spoke up and let me know about it so that I could address it in real time and so that I can share this experience that I really think is a positive experience with y'all. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, you cannot control what happens in your life a lot of times. There's going to be negative experiences. There's going to be people be mean to you. There's going to be negative reviews for your business. There's going to be all sorts of things that happen. You can't control that, but you can control how you respond. So take a while after this video. You don't have to do this, but I really think it's helpful. I want you to think about the last 3 to 5 times that something negative happened in your life. Someone was rude to you, cut you off in traffic, blah, blah, blah. A negative review you got on Google or TCG Player. And I want you to review how you responded to it. Not just outwardly how you responded, but mentally, how did you respond to that? How did you take that in? How did you process it? And I want you to think about how maybe next time something like that happens in your life, what are ways that you could maybe get out ahead of an emotional response, or get out ahead of maybe being overly negative on yourself about something. Because at the end of the day, all this negativity that's maybe filtered into our lives, it gives us honestly the opportunity to grow and improve, whether that's from a business standpoint or from an individualistic standpoint. Thank y'all so much for watching. I know that I stuck to the point here, but hopefully it made sense. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Have you ever received a negative review, a negative comment online for anything that you've done in your business? And let me know how you deal with that. And I hope to see you for the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.